Thank you for kicking it with Kara. Today I have joining me Isaiah Jackson, who is a #1 best-selling author of Bitcoin and Black America, a TV host of Community Crypto, and a podcaster of The Gentleman of Crypto. Hi, Isaiah. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show, Shakira. Glad to be here.
No problem, no problem. So let's go ahead and get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Absolutely. So, with Bitcoin, that book came out in 2019, but my start was in 2013. I was, fresh out of college, and my first job was as a teacher at a high school, and we really didn't make any money as teachers. So, just looking around for things to invest in or things to try and get me more money, I found Bitcoin. And I had a roommate who told me about it. I watched some videos, read the Bitcoin white paper, and from that point I was sold simply because I understood that, money as it is now doesn't work. And in the Black community, we've had issues as well. So from that point, was doing consulting and teaching for a number of years. And in 2019, released Bitcoin in Black America. And the second version I just released this year. So my journey has been one of, a lot of ups and downs because this market is, pretty volatile, and a lot of people are not, well-versed in Bitcoin. So it's been crazy, but at the same time, it's been worth it simply because I understand that our money system does need to change, and I think that's the message I've been able to present over the years.
I think that's really great that you have your knowledge and you're 100% sharing it with so many people, including myself, because I honestly didn't really start learning anything about it until last year. And so that's why I really want to have you on here, because you definitely have a lot of knowledge in that area. Quick question, did you start off before Bitcoin, like dealing with stocks and things of that nature?
So I had stocks when I was 18. I heard about it from a family member, and I just had a few stocks, but to me it was really slow, and I didn't have a lot of money. So just looking at the gains from the stocks, I was like, they're cool, but I got to be in this for like 40 years. So it wasn't a big deal for me. But, I started there, and then I do have a background in computer science. So the tech part of it is what intrigued me to get into Bitcoin. The finance part of it, I learned a lot of it later. But, I do have that background with stocks.
Okay. So for somebody that would be similar to myself, I haven't really indulged into much into stock and market and Bitcoin in general. And I think, too, a big thing in our communities that some of us come from is not really a big factor of it and knowledge that we really have around us. You kind of have to learn on your own, or once you go off on your own into the real world, you kind of meet people and you kind of get that word of mouth type of knowledge. So can you tell us a little bit about Bitcoin of somebody that doesn't know anything about it?
Absolutely. So if you're starting from zero and you have no clue what we're talking about right now, very simply put, Bitcoin is money. All right? So money is a system. It's a system of people who agree that when I give you $1, Shakira, you can give it to somebody else. That's the system of money. And the current system we have has been manipulated by, bankers, by the central bank, and in the Black community specifically, we have seen financial discrimination. We've seen gentrification. We've seen a pushback from other Americans, white Americans, with places like Black Wall Street. So our money system is broken. And one of the things I want people to understand is that Bitcoin is the opposite of what we currently have. And let me explain what I mean by that. All right? So our current system, money is printed, is given to banks, and then they decide who to loan it to. On the flip side, Bitcoin is printed at every 10 minutes. People who are miners, people who help the network, who use their computing power to help the network, they get rewarded, and then that Bitcoin is distributed evenly. And it's two different systems. One system is centralized, one is decentralized. And what that means is anybody can join with Bitcoin. Anybody can use it. There's no racism. There's no ageism. There's no sort of class warfare there. With Bitcoin, you have the ability to be free and to own your own money. And what I mean by that is Bitcoin is a digital currency that anybody can own, anybody can buy it, and you can keep your wealth in Bitcoin. Unlike gold, unlike silver, unlike real estate, unlike anything we've seen before in U.S. history, this is the first time that black Americans can actually own their wealth. And it's been taken from us so much. Bitcoin is priceless because we've had it taken from us so much between eminent domain, like I said before, and some of the other things that have happened with racial discrimination, with redlining. So what Bitcoin is, it is a digital currency that you can own. You can have your own digital wallet that you can download, and you can put your money. It's literally just a transfer of wealth into Bitcoin. You can send it any time of the day. Bitcoin doesn't stop. It's 24/7, unlike banks. Bitcoin has the ability to be trustless, meaning that you can transact with anybody around the world without a third party. You don't need anybody looking over your shoulder. We're adults here, right? So Bitcoin gives you the ability
right.
to transact, and the finance system is the best system that we've ever seen. And the reason that the value of Bitcoin increases when people are like, well, it started at zero and somehow it's at 60,000 today. The reason it increases in value is because the amount of Bitcoin is scarce. And I want to say that again. The amount of Bitcoin is scarce, and scarcity is the only factor that gives something value, right? If anybody can have it, it's not worth much, right? And that can be applied to a lot of different things. So
Right.
if anybody can have it, it's not worth much. So if it's scarce, that's what gives it value. Bitcoin is scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be printed. We're already at about 18.9 million. And because of that scarcity, with rising demand, anybody that takes a basic economics course knows that is the catalyst for a rise in value. So as more people want it, with a lower supply, that increases the value, right? So that's why Bitcoin has reached the price that it has. Rich people who have a lot of money, such as Elon Musk with Tesla, Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy, and just general investors around the world understand if you keep your money in our current system, it is an inflation-based system. It's worth less tomorrow than it is today. With Bitcoin, it's the opposite. You have to have an asset that beats out the inflation that we are currently seeing. And that is what Bitcoin is in a nutshell. I know that was a long explanation, but I want to try to get it all in as simple as possible.
Okay, I think that definitely was some valuable knowledge. So something that I think some people don't understand is the real process behind when you put your money in an actual bank.
Yeah. Yeah, so with a bank, what
Mhm.
people don't...
No, I was going to say,
Yeah,
can you explain that a little bit further to some people that don't know?
Absolutely. So when you put your money in a bank, it's no longer your money. It's their money. And what they do with your money is their business. You don't know about it. But for the money that you do give them, they loan it out. They make risky or speculative, or they take speculative risk on different assets to earn interest, and they give you a small percentage of it. If you put your money in a bank for a savings account, you're getting like 0.75%, 0.1%. I mean, just terrible numbers. They're basically taking your money from you. And also, if there's a crisis, we've seen in other countries, in Greece and Venezuela and India, if there's a crisis and they need money, they can just shut down your account and close the bank, and you can't do anything. You can't go inside. The ATMs are closed. So banks inherently take away your value simply because they own your money. And when people put their money into a bank, traditionally it seemed as safe, but after the '08 crash, people should be questioning banks a lot more because when your money's in there, a lot of times when it's theirs, you are susceptible to any type of risk that comes along with that bank. The FDIC insurance is only up to $250,000, so people that are high net worth, that money can be taken at any time. And I think people need to understand that if you own your wealth, that is a totally different mindset versus what we currently have where banks, people just give it to banks, they think that's the place to go, but honestly they are simply taking your money, using it for their own profit, and on the back end you may get a small percentage, but Bitcoin solves that problem, definitely.
Thank you for that. So I'm a big analogy example type of lady. Say if I had, say we get a fourth stimmy. Say somebody's like, okay, well, I have a fourth stimmy. Joke come true. No. No, but for real, say if somebody did, they got a stimulus check, say another $1,400, and it's like, okay, well, I have some money that I can, I want to invest in Bitcoin with it. Can you tell us that scenario?
Yes. So if you invested the last stimulus check, which came out April of 2020, right now that stimulus check, if you put all, what was it, 1,200? If you put all 1,200 into Bitcoin, you would currently have about $11,000 right now, which if anybody who wants to start a business, who wants to have a vacation, who wants to put money in their savings, $10,000, $11,000 is a lot of money for people who generally don't invest. And the last stimulus check, that's only 1 year. We're literally, if you put your stimulus in Bitcoin, wait a year, you got $11,000. That, to me, is the easiest form of investment, and people need to understand that if you take your stimulus and you spend it on things you don't need, if it's not dire straits, if it's not something in your budget where you're like, I need to get this, then you should put it in Bitcoin and in crypto, because long term, as a savings account, there's nothing that's even close as far as percentage gain. So we've seen that over the last year, and I believe if you wait 5, 10 years from now, that stimulus check will be at the six-figure mark, simply by putting it into Bitcoin and waiting, because the value of the dollar is decreasing, so the value of Bitcoin is increasing, because it's the inverse of what's happening.
Yeah, I definitely think that's something profitable and smart to do.
Yeah, I mean, most people, they diversify, but honestly, I haven't seen anything that can take you from $1,200 to $10,000 with zero work, no work at all.
Right. Especially because a lot of us have that sitting in a savings account, a bank savings account, and they might add on 50 cents.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, end of the year, you get your little $2 check, and you got to go on about your way. But, nah, that's not how things should be. Like I said, when it's centralized, they're stealing from you. Forget banks. We don't need them. I have a chapter in my second book called Fuck Banks because of that. And they've literally been stealing from us for so many decades. It's the reason why your grandparents, your grandfather can have one job and you can have a house and a car and a family. And then now you got two incomes and can barely have an apartment because of inflation. And banks did it. They did it intentionally. Central banks did. And that's why our dollar is worthless now as it is.
Right, and I think it's so important that we spread the knowledge that we obtain, because everybody isn't able to receive the knowledge, or is it some people that really just don't know to be able to give it, And so I think, like, the things that we learn throughout society and interacting with other people, it's important for us to share with our communities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I've been on a mission since 2013.
And that's why, so what made you write a book, and tell us a little bit about it, because you have two books.
Absolutely. So Bitcoin in Black America, the reason it was first written was most of the clients that I was teaching about Bitcoin early on were Black. So I realized that I needed a way to get the information out in an efficient way so that, a lot of people could learn about the industry before, it's too late, so to say, because time is of the essence. So I wrote the first book, 2019, July, I let it out or dropped it. And the reception has been great. And I think it was the first time people kind of thought of Bitcoin in the way that I've always thought of it, is that it's for everybody. Because early on, if you think about it, everybody thought Bitcoin was for, like, white nerds who sitting there in grandma's basement. Like, they thought it was some, like, criminal, like, crazy thing. And so when people are like, hold on, there's Black people who know about this? I think it was sort of like a record scratch. Yeah, people thought it was Forex. They thought it was, and when I explained in the book, it's none of that. It's a totally different money system, and I don't think people in our community have gotten good information. There's a lot of snake oil salesmen who come into our community who promise the world. I don't do that. I don't even try to convince people about Bitcoin. I just give them the information and tell them to choose, because I believe in self-sufficiency, and that's what the book is about. It's about solutions. It's about being able to do for self. I think that's how you grow a strong community. Is if each person is strong, then the community is strong. So with Bitcoin, I thought that is a good foundation to start with. Our money is the foundation. We have to be able to be economically viable. We can't ask governors and senators and House of Representatives to do anything for us if we don't have the economics behind it. They just laugh in our face like Joe Biden did. Everybody who voted for him was just like, no, I'm not doing nothing for Black people, because we don't have economically the strength to do anything. The Asians do, though. The Jews do, though. And they've done it in the traditional market. We can do it with Bitcoin. That's why I wrote the first book, and that's why I wrote the second book as well, because we need to stop playing. Time is of the essence. We need to stop looking at how we're living now. Just because individually we may have a car or apartment, who cares? Your money is being taken away from you. You're being robbed without a gun right now, and you don't even realize it. So the time for playing is over. That's why I wrote the second book, and that's why I've loved the reception that's coming from it, because I think black people are starting to realize it's a rigged game, and we have to either leave or we can stay in it and reap the consequences. I don't know about you, but I'm not about to stay on the Titanic when I can see the iceberg ahead. I can see the iceberg right ahead of you. I'm getting my raft, and Bitcoin is the lifeboat we need.
Oh, you already know I'm going to be on the raft. Don't play with me. I'm going to be swimming away.
Exactly, yeah. Hop on. That's all I'm trying to offer black
swim.
people is, hey, yeah, that's all
Right.
I'm trying to offer black people is, hey, you can see where our economy is going. Why would you not want to use the solution that solved it for other countries, whereas here it would be even a bigger solution? So to me, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
It's just, like you said, knowledge and education, getting people to hear about it, know about it. Those things need to happen, and that's why I do what I do, and others as well.
Yes. People are so clutched to things that they know that they're so afraid to open their mind to things that they don't know something about that could be very beneficial to them.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that a lot.
So we do. So hopefully, you know, with things going on with so much social media, with so much things that you could actually get your hands on with knowledge and helping yourself become better, hopefully then, you know, us as a whole, we can all do better because none of us are perfect and we all have to start somewhere. And so going back to what you were saying, it kind of leads me to my next question of your thoughts of creating generational wealth in ways that some tips that you would give some people to obtain that, because I know that you have a family. Congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Can't wait to get married.
You said what?
Yeah, my little baby. I said can't wait to get married. My baby Gigi. I love it.
You better go, Dave. I love to hear that. Okay, black man. Okay.
Absolutely. Find me a good black woman, and I'm on my way.
Yes. You better go. I love it. I love black love. I'm all here for it. It's so amazing to see. I was talking to a few other people from our I know you didn't go to WSSU, but you know you was basically there.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I love
part-time student.
Right, part-time NC State, and then you had to come over to the HBCU and get your soul in.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, but I love seeing, I was talking to a few other people, and I just love to see the growth from us being so young, like, 18, 19, 20, to where we are now, and the things that we're trying to do, and then, like, our evolution within ourselves and what we want for our family. And so it does lead me to, what do you think are some good tips and just little ways within yourself that you're doing to try to create generational wealth for your family?
Oh, yeah. So I would tell people that first, support people in your family who have businesses, who have initiatives. For example, I have my fiance, my brother has his wife, my cousin has his wife. We basically, in our little circle, support each other with literally everything we do. Because when we have kids, which I have one now, my brother has, 2 on the way, to create generational wealth, the people at the top need to have money. So my cousin, for example, he has a clothing line. We all buy his clothes. His wife, she does my wife and my brother's wife's eyebrows. My brother, he works out me and my cousin. I teach everybody about Bitcoin, and my wife caters all the events with food. We literally have our own little group economics between us 6 that we use. And generationally, the way to pass that down is not only just the money, but also the information, the skills to become an entrepreneur, passing that down to your children. And then I would say in a Bitcoin sense, making sure that you secure your Bitcoin long term, make sure it's in your will, make sure you talk to your lawyer to be able to pass that down, because I believe it's so valuable long term that if you pass it down to your kids, you don't ever have to sell your Bitcoin. You can keep it as collateral and get cash loans from it. So you can keep it in the family forever. And I think the start of that is teaching your kids the information, getting them to own it and understand how valuable it is so they don't, sell it or give it away at some point or lose it. and then that can continue for the next few generations. And I think a lot of people who have tried, to pass down generational wealth, it has been taken at some point because, it's the old joke. Everybody has a dumb nephew or a dumb grandson who messes off the family's wealth. But with Bitcoin, it's only they can't mess it off anymore. If you give them a clear direction, they can't just get rid of it. So, so I think that's why you create generational wealth. And in the Black community, that's what you are trying to do. Support each other, pass down the information, and make sure you have the money to support generations long term.
I think those are definitely some helpful tips, and I think that's really dope of what y'all are doing because there's a lot of other communities that do those type of things. I'm glad that you're incorporated into the Black community and within your own family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I start with my family. I don't tell anybody information that I haven't done myself. I start with my family, and I feel like it's only 6 of us, but if we scale up to 600, 6,000, 6 million, that's when you start seeing the group economics we need in order to make sure our next generation is straight. Because nobody can live forever, so you might as well look forward. And nobody really owns Bitcoin. You're just saving it for the next generation.
Right. I think my saying is always teamwork makes the dream work. A lot of people nowadays need to start banding together instead of being jealous or competing with the next person. Like if we all was able to really come together as a community, things would be a lot easier for us, But all we could do is put it out there, hope and dream, and then do what we can within our own selves.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right there when you said teamwork makes the dream work because a lot of people compete in our community when in reality you can make so much more money working together. So much more. I've seen it myself and done it plenty of times.
Right. And we're just doing what we can because you have your own podcast. I see that you're doing quite a few interviews with all different types of communities and spreading the word, and especially even just with your books. Tell everybody where they can find you, find your books, find your shows and everything you have going on with you.
Absolutely. So you can find the book at bitcoinandblackamerica.com. It's also on Amazon as well. You can find me on Twitter at BitcoinZay, on Instagram at BIsaiahJackson. And for those of you who are interested in the TV show Community Crypto, it's on CoinDesk TV every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And I also have my daily show, The Gentleman of Crypto, on YouTube. So you can find me at any of those places.
Okay, well, thank you. And I did check out your TV show, too. The thing I did like about it, I don't have the highest attention span for marketing, stockish type of things just because it's not really my highest level forte. But I'm just being honest, But I will say when I've checked out a few of your shows, it's just long enough where you can get some good gems in a short amount of time.
Oh, yeah, and that's the goal, to make sure 30 minutes, we in, we out, get some information, and take it with you and research. Definitely.
Right. So before we end, I would love for you to give us a motto, a mantra that you live by.
The motto I live by, live free and buy Bitcoin. I said, I find it in every book. I tell every person, live free and buy Bitcoin. Because, the first part is very loaded. By live free, it's a lot that comes with that, doing what you want, being self-sovereign. You only get one life, man. Like, why be tied down by these old systems? And the buy Bitcoin part is, hey, that's the money aspect to free you. So, live free and buy Bitcoin.
Right. Well, I thank you so much, Isaiah, for coming and joining me and giving us so much information about Bitcoin.
Yes, man. I appreciate you having me on so much. And we go way back, so this is great coming full circle, being able to do this show.
Yes, we do. We go way back. And congratulations to your brother as well. I'm so happy for both of y'all, and I wish y'all nothing but the best in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.